Right, a couple of things before we started, or before we start. This is my 5th time of taking this because I keep stumbling and fumbling and fucking up whenever I'm trying to speak. Second of all, I have got back from holiday. It was a nice holiday. I went to the Malaga area. It was nice to get 3 days of sunshine because the first 2 days were completely miserable and raining and ugh. But anyway, it was nice to get away. It was nice to at least see another country and swim in the Mediterranean Sea, as well as sunbathe for a bit, but I haven't tanned that much. Anyway, to me, I got back, I watched the Assassin's Creed Syndicate reviews, and to me personally, Assassin's Creed as a franchise is dead. That is it. You've beaten this horse too much now. Ubisoft, if you're gonna make another open world game, don't tag the Assassin's Creed label to it. Don't tag the Assassin's Creed storyline to it. Make a different open world game. Like if you're gonna make a new game for next year, make it a different IP. Create something new and something fresh. But to me, Assassin's Creed's been taken to a point where it's dead. It's not going to recover. It's not going to recover immediately. It needs some time, or it's or I should say, it's very hard for Assassin's Creed to recover. Now you're probably wondering why am I showing you Assassin's Creed 4 gameplay? I've got 2 pieces of it. Well, I'm trying to make the point that, and I firmly believe this, that Assassin's Creed 4 helped kill off Assassin's Creed as a franchise. But allow me to explain. Now my explanation begins back at Assassin's Creed 1. Let's analyze this game. Released back in 2007, it was originally supposed to be a Prince of Persia game, but it became its own IP, set in both the Holy Land during the Crusades, where you would play as Altair and a member of a group of assassins who was assigned with killing certain key political figures in the land at the time who were helping to push the war between the Saracens and the Crusaders. And in the modern day, you're playing as Desmond Miles in a machine called the Animus, which allowed you to relive the memories of Altair, essentially through genetic memory. Now, this game, it was light on features, didn't have much of an open world, it wasn't really that expansive. Yes, you could freely explore each district of the city or all the cities once you'd actually unlocked all districts of the cities, which came quite late in the game. But still, when you were exploring the cities, you could freely move about each district when you were there. You could climb whatever building you wanted to climb, but still not a lot. But what made that game shine for me was that it made you feel like an assassin. It actually put you into this world. Yes, there was hardly no features. Yes, there was hardly any customization. Yes, there was no multiplayer of any kind. Yes, this franchise had only just begun at this point. But it made you feel like an assassin by making you have to go out, gather information on your targets, find the quote-unquote best time and place, which was often scripted, I will admit, the best time and place to kill your target, and deduce the best method for assassinating your target. The Creed, or the Assassin's Creed, sort of preached a stealthy approach, but you could choose. Do I want to try and find a sneaky route to my target, or do I want to just say, fuck this, pull out my sword, and say, right, I'm gonna slaughter all of you? But that's the thing. It was so good. That's what made the game good. Did it have amazing combat? No, the combat to me is good, but it's not amazing. It could still go a long way to improving. Was there a lot of open world features? No. Was there side quests? Yes, but they were all repetitive. I will admit that. But it placed you in this world. It placed you in the boots and the hood of Altair. To me, it made me it turns me into Altair. Every time I'm stuck in that disc, every time I load it up on my PC, when I'm walking through the streets of Akkar, or Damascus, or Jerusalem, or I'm riding my horse through the Holy Land, I am Altair. That's what Assassin's Creed 1 did. It made me feel like an assassin, as quite a lot of other people would also testify. It also places you in the world. It places you in the world. It doesn't say, okay, you are the player. It says, no, you are Altair. You are a member of the Assassin's Order. You are Altair. It's you who's going to have to kill these targets. It's you that's going to have to gather the information on them. And that's what I loved about the game, and to me that was the core of the franchise. That was the kernel, the diamond of the franchise. That's what made it shine. But it also placed you in these historical periods. But on top of that, it dealt with themes such as morality, is killing always the right option? It dealt with the conscience, it dealt with Altair's conscience, like, after he assassinates the brand, Altair, he begins to feel remorse. He's just like, what if we don't have to kill these Templars? What if they're just misguided? What if we can't convince them to try and see the other side? It also deals with politics, a tad bit with religion, which I feel was really underplayed. Like, given the time and setting, you've got the Crusade in the Holy Land. You could have had, like, obviously, it's a very touchy subject. Religion is one of the most touchy subjects in the world, but still, you could have gone there more. You could have had certain targets really doing their actions for more religious motivations, and not sort of saying, like, not necessarily being Templars, but actual targets, like saying, I'm not doing this for I'm not doing this for political reasons, but I'm really motivated by my religion to go kill them. Like, that's not obviously all religious people, I will speak for that, but still, you do have those people in the world that are motivated by their religious creed to kill people or to defend their ideas via death. It's obviously, I wish that Assassin's Creed built upon that idea, or like sort of almost had the discussion, quote unquote, about that idea of, or that theme, but still it discussed other themes, like I said, morality. And it opened up this dialogue, like, via the Assassins and Templars war with each other, between this about this concept of freedom. Can humans survive, develop, and grow without a puppet, or a hand, rather, guiding everything, without a sort of an external group of people guiding humanity? Can humans really prosper, survive, and grow? The Assassins arguing, yes they can. The Templars arguing, no they can't. Hence why they war with each other. The Templars want to control humanity because they see it as, we will guard humanity, we will allow humans to prosper, if we control humanity, humans will prosper. The Assassins say, no, humans prosper under freedom, and we will defend this idea by killing you. But that's the thing, Assassin's Creed 1 touched on that idea. Assassin's Creed 2 built upon the gameplay elements of Assassin's Creed 1, but still discussing these themes. This idea of this war but it built upon this idea of the Assassin Templar war going throughout history and pushing it underground, kind of thing. It really, to me, it just, again, Assassin's Creed 2 also put me into Ezio's boots. It put me under Ezio's hood. It made me feel like Ezio. It gave me reasons to hate the Templars. It gave me reasons to want to see Rodrigo Borgia dead. He killed your family. He oversaw the execution of your father and your two brothers. Hence, you actually have a core motivation to say, right, I'm gonna work my way up, killing all the Templars I can see, kind of thing. Again, they expanded a bit on the open world, but it managed to strike this balance between linear story, and open world gameplay. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood expanded a bit more on the open world, but just enough to still keep this fundamental balance between a good open world game. It added new features like multiplayer, the ability to recruit Brotherhood, but it still kept that linear story which made the game shine. Assassin's Creed Revelations was copy and paste. It kind of drew away from the story and began to shift more towards open world gameplay. I mean, admittedly, the series was shifting more towards open world gameplay, but it was shifting away from this perfect balance that had been struck between good open world gameplay but a good linear story. Assassin's Creed 3 really then pushed the boat out in terms of open world gameplay. But for me, Assassin's Creed 4 was the turning point, because this game was based so much around open world gameplay and open world exploration, and it kind of retracted from the story balance. And plus, by this point, well, I should say rather by Assassin's Creed Revelations /3, the whole Assassin-Templar conflict had almost just been pushed to the side, just forgotten. Like, I get that characters can have personal motivations, and I do like characters that have personal motivations. Don't get me wrong, that's a cool aspect. I mean, it works for Ezio. I mean, Ezio started off with this just pure revenge quest, saying, "I'm gonna avenge my fathers. I'm not doing this because I'm an assassin. I'm just doing this because you killed my father and brothers. I'm coming to hunt you down." But then eventually he grows into the creed, and it doesn't feel unnatural. It honestly feels natural. Ezio maturing and becoming an assassin, and then suddenly adopting the Assassin's Creed, saying, I'm not really doing this now for my personal revenge, but I'm doing this to stop you Templars. I'm doing this to protect mankind. But by Assassin's Creed 3, that kind of been lost. I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, personal motivations for characters is a sick idea, but Connor didn't really adopt the creed. I liked his personal motivations, but it fizzled out. It just became a hooded Mohican running around killing the Brits because he believed that by killing the Brits and helping the colonists, he would save his tribe, he would save his people's land. But he never really adopts the Assassin's Creed to me. Or if the story says he does, it just didn't feel that natural to convince me that, oh, Connor is actually an assassin. He's adopted the Assassin's Creed. And the same with Assassin's Creed 4. Yes, Edward adopts the Creed late towards the end of the game, but, it doesn't feel that natural to me. Or at least in the game, Edward adopts the creed towards the beginning of it, but again, it's just not that natural. I don't know why. But let's talk more about the open world elements, because I feel that's what's ruined this game. Assassin's Creed 4 emphasized this whole idea of a massive, expansive Caribbean open world which you can explore at your own pace. But it littered the game with so many side quests, and I think it introduced them all too early. The assassination contracts are introduced way too early in the game. It's just I remember the first time I ever played this back on PlayStation 3, I accidentally started an assassination contract, and I'm thinking, hang on, how the hell does Edward even know these are assassination contracts? He hasn't even met the assassins yet. How does he know these are assassination contracts? I don't know. And other open world elements, they just kind of pushed these more out instead of focusing on the story, which did so annoy me. I don't know why, but personally, I feel this game just pushed. Now, in terms of open world elements. I do like them, but for Assassin's Creed, putting too many open world elements in doesn't exactly work. Which is why I actually think Freedom Cry was a sick game. Yes, it was a DLC campaign, but it was still a sick campaign because what a lot of reviewers complained about at the time was like, oh, Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry doesn't have a lot of open world elements. But to me, it struck this balance between linear open world story and open world. The world wasn't too expansive. And it was focused, and the game was focused more on the story, not this whole idea of, okay, here's an open world, go out and do whatever. It allowed players to do it, but it just said, right, the story is here. And it gave you motivations for playing it. I mean, surely, I hope most people would have these motivations and not be racist, be like, you are a former Maroon slave, you've been stranded in Port-au-Prince due to a storm after trying to collect the Templar package, but then you get pulled into the Maroon struggle for independence. And that was your primal motivations for the story. What was the primal motivations for Assassin's Creed Black Flag? You're a pirate that kills an assassin, then wears his uniform and continues to be a pirate throughout most of the game, until having a sort of a turning point moment in your life when one of your friends who is an assassin dies, and you've realised you've wasted your life basically, and then you decide to become an assassin at the end of the game. All while you're trying to locate this first civilization site called the Observatory, just so you can gain the money from it. Like, to me, the only reason that game deserves to have the Assassin's Creed label on it, or Black Flag deserves to have the Assassin's Creed label on it, is because it included the Assassin Order and it included the First Civilization. That's it. That's it. Like, it was mainly just a pirate game. And it focused too much on the open world pirate aspects that, to me, it was the final nail in the coffin in terms of the franchise. Now, Assassin's Creed Unity tried to go back, or claims to have tried to go back to the series formula. You know, not exactly massive open world, focus more on the story, but it failed because it kept too many of the open world's tropes in. You know, litter the map with so many side quests and so many side activities, and it kept pushing the co-op missions in your face. Well, at least in my experience, the co-op missions were pushed too much in my face that it was almost like the story doesn't matter. And like, there was so little story there in terms of both the modern world, and the story just felt too similar to Assassin's Creed 2. They didn't try and write their own story. It was pretty much cut and paste from Assassin's Creed 2 with certain things altered. Arno's father dies as he's a child. Arno's stepfather gets killed when Templars, who are more power hungry than Arno's stepfather, want to expand the Order to, you know, become a more dominant force because the assassins are winning the war at this point. And plus, Arno was just well voice acted. He was a good personality, but it was just like I couldn't really care about Arno kind of thing. It's meh. And I haven't ordered Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I haven't got it. But from what I've seen, Syndicate just looks too similar to Unity. Syndicate apparently plays quite similarly to Unity, but I don't know, like, I'm kind of just sick and tired of the franchise at this point. Like, it strayed too far away from the original formula in my eyes. It doesn't really focus on this ancient struggle between assassins and Templars. It doesn't push interesting themes, or at least in my eyes, interesting themes such as morality, what is right, what is wrong, you know, pushing this discussion and this debate of can humans govern themselves, or does a big group need to govern humanity? It doesn't push the idea that humans worshipped the piece of Eden as if they were, you know, religious objects. It doesn't push. It just doesn't push enough themes. They're too simple. And the themes it does push, they're just. They're meh at this point. Like, Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry was a breath of fresh air because it pushed the theme of slavery. You know, it pushed the theme of slavery is wrong from the maroon side of it, and then obviously when you kill the the governor in Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, you see his racial motivations for keeping the Maroons enslaved. He believes the Maroons are animals, they are subhumans, therefore they need to be enslaved, they need to be worked, kind of thing. But at least Freedom Cry tried to push the boat out in terms of pushing deep, serious themes. I mean, these are PEGI 18 games, so these are supposed to be for mature audiences. So give us some mature themes, please. But in terms of Assassin's Creed, and that was a funny glitch. Anyway, in terms of Assassin's Creed, I'm done with the franchise. I really am done with it at this point. It no longer focuses on Assassins versus Templars. It's now become a background thing to me. Like, they still keep the Assassins and Templars in the conflict just so they can slap the Assassin's Creed label on it. Like, honestly, Ubisoft they could have just taken Syndicate, removed the Assassin's Creed from it, and called it Criminal Syndicate. They could have called the game Criminal Syndicate, removed the Assassin and Templar element, and it could be its own interesting open world IP that could contend against Grand Theft Auto. It's just like, oh. So, am I gonna pick up Assassin's Creed Syndicate? No. I'm gonna take a hiatus on the franchise. I'm gonna wait till they can return to the series roots, so they can. I'm gonna wait till Ubisoft can actually listen to us. And personally, for one thing, is go back to Assassin's Creed 1, go back to Assassin's Creed 2, go back to Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Look at what everybody's saying is good about those games, or look what a lot of us, the fans, are saying is good about those games. And just take a year, in fact, take 3 years off from Assassin's Creed, just so you can really spend your time toying with ideas, but making sure you can find the formula, the soul of Assassin's Creed again. And that you can also create a sick multiplayer again. I mean, I bought Assassin's Creed Black Flag because it's a good open world game, but it's not a good Assassin's Creed game in my eyes. So, like I said, I'm done with the franchise now. I can't be bothered to purchase it. I cannot purchase any other Assassin's Creed game. It's just making my head hurt thinking about Assassin's Creed now. I mean, I'm gonna spend my money on Fallout 4 because if I want an open world game, I want a sick open world game, and the Fallout series is a sick open world game. If I want another good open world game, I flagged this game off quite a lot, but if I want a good open world game, I can go back to my PlayStation 3 and play Grand Theft Auto 5. I could even buy it on the PS4 and play the game again. It's like, Assassin's Creed should stick to what it was originally good at, a good linear story. And yes, in an open world, but don't clutter the game with so many features, and don't try and make the game an open world game. Make it an action, adventure, stealth game. So yeah, I'm done with Assassin's Creed in general. I'm not buying any more of the games. I'll play, and they allow me to play some other games. I'll go purchase Fallout 4. I'll continue to play Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection. By the way, the playthrough of the first game is still going on. It's just I want to take a bit of a break from it, and plus I was away in Spain. But oh well. Anyway, so to me, that's my justifications for saying Assassin's Creed is dead. And I'm not going to purchase any more of the games until Ubisoft can return back to the series roots. I'll see you guys.